in this demo, we're going to upload data to an Arcqueue. So Arcqueue is a messaging system. It's a first in, first out messaging system, and it can store uh, large amounts of data. So we'll start. So first, we're going to create an orchestration. So in the integration, click on Orchestration Designer. We'll grab a start node, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a timer that kicks in every 10 seconds and creates data and uploads it to the Arcqueue. So the data will be a JSON data, and it's customers JSON data. So we'll populate this with the customers JSON data from the Northwind database. And then we are going to encrypt that data with AES 256 encryption. So, and then we are going to send the data, encrypted data, to an Arcqueue. And then we'll end the orchestration. So we'll populate the uh, login password ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a secret that is going to be used for the password encryption. So we'll say RQ password for encryption. And then we'll give it a password. So and then we'll copy the ID, and we're going to go back to the orchestration designer and put that in the login password ID. So this will use the password that is populated in the secrets. And then we're going to create a queue for where we're going to upload the encrypted data. So uh, the queue is available in the integration Arcqueue menu. So we're going to uh, open that, and the moment there's no queue, so we'll create a queue. We'll create a queue called demo queue, and then we are going to create a queue container called RQ1. Okay, so we're going to uh, grab the ID of the RQ and put that in the designer in the RQ ID, and then we're going to grab the container name and put that in the queue name. Okay. Next, we're going to save it as demo 5 RQ data uploader. Okay, and then we'll click on save and hit on play. So a pop-up window will appear, and you have to disable the pop-up blocker for this website. So now the data, the orchestration is getting deployed to the development server, and then the development server will execute it and come back with the result. Okay, so we should have data in the queue now. So let's look at the data flowing through the orchestration. So the string source is populated. We populated the JSON data, and that is made available to the AES 256 encrypt input, and it encrypted the data with the password that we specified in the secret, and this is the output data of the AES 256 encryptor, and that data is sent and uploaded to the Arcqueue sender, and then we have completed the orchestration. So let's go to the Arcqueue, uh, and let's have a look at the contain the data for Q1. So we have Q1 retrieve data. So we have 10, 10 records now, and so this is the data. It's encrypted, and yeah. So now we have 15 records. Okay, so we'll stop the orchestration player, and what we'll do is we are going to deploy this Arcqueue orchestration in the uh, in the server. So we'll save that, and then we'll deploy that. So Arcqueue data uploader, we'll click on deploy and then create. So this is going to be uh, processed and deployed to the backend server. A server will be selected and it will be executed on that server. Okay, so I'll just need to refresh that. Okay, now say it's active. So once it starts running, we'll see some logs coming through. Okay, so now it's running. Click on grab. So it's executed properly. There is no error. So let's look at the data uploading. So we got the string source. We got the output from the encryption. We have the Arcqueue sender uploader, which uploads it to the Arcqueue database. And then we're going to check the data in the queue. So we have now about 30 records, 35 records, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to create another orchestration which basically consumes the queue. So we'll start with a start uh, node, and then we'll use a simple timer that receives the queue every, let's say, 10 seconds, uh, and then we're going to grab a decryptor. So we will decrypt, sorry, we will, sorry, an Arcqueue receiver. So we'll receive data from the queue using an Arcqueue receiver, and then that data is encrypted. So we need to decrypt it using AES 256 decryption, and then that data is we can upload that to a database. So we'll upload that, say, to an Arcqueue, an Arcdatabase. We'll create, we'll use an Arcdatabase sender. So this one here. So we'll define, and then we're gonna close the, we're gonna complete the orchestration. So first, we're going to populate the data for the queue. So simple timer is 10 seconds. Arcqueue receiver will have to populate the Arcqueue ID with the ID of the queue. So we'll go back to the list, copy that, and then go to the orchestration designer, and then we're going to grab the name of the queue. So we'll go to the containers, copy the name of the queue, and then we're going to populate the queue name with that value, and then we're going to decrypt the data received from the queue. So we'll go to the secrets and copy the password uh, for it. So I think it's this one. Yeah, and then uh, we'll pop we'll populate that there, and then we'll set the database. So we're going to create an Arcqueue database. So we go to the Arcdatabase menu, and we create a new database, or you reuse a database. So we have an Arc database demo, and we have the which look at the table. So we have a customers table. So we're not going to use that. So we're going to create a new table. We'll call it customers 22, but we won't create that. We'll automatically generate that table. So let's go and copy the Arc database ID and paste that in the uh, Arc database ID in the Arc database sender connector. The table name will say Arcqueue uploaded data. Okay, okay, and then we'll say input is array, and because the JSON data is an array of customers, and then we'll say auto create table is true, so that it creates the table automatically, and then we'll save that. So we'll say demo 5 arc arq downloader, and then we'll save that. Next, we'll play that, and we'll look at the data being processed in each of the nodes. So we'll wait. So at the moment, it is being parsed. It's being deployed to the backend dev database server, and then the dev database server will execute it and it will give us a feedback. So one thing about the RQD receiver is that once it receives the first data, it will delete it from the queue. So it's like a stack. Sorry, not a stack, but a queue. So it will take the oldest message and remove it and process that. So let's have a look at the data receiver, the RQ receiver. So from the queue, RQ, it received an encrypted data, and then what it did is it decrypted that using the AES-256 decrypt connector, and then it uploaded that to the Arcqueue uploaded data table in the Arc database. So let's have a look at the Arc database, and let's look at the data in there. So we'll see Arc database. So let's look at the data. So now there are two tables in there. One is automatically created. Let's click on retrieve data. So we have lots of records in there now. So uh, yeah. Next, we're going to deploy that. So it will keep on populating that. So and then we'll look at the logs. So what we're going to do is go to the orchestration designer, click on save and close, and then we'll deploy that. So we'll deploy the Arcqueue downloader, and it's going to be saved it's going to be deployed to the server. So I'm going to reload this page. Okay, so Arcqueue has picked it up, and it's now being deployed to that server. So while that is loading, okay, so now it's running. So let's go look at the logs. We'll check on the logs from the all logs. So these are the, so every 10 seconds a data is being generated, and every 10 seconds a data is being uploaded. So that's the so we have the Arcqueue data uploader, downloader, uploader, downloader. Okay, so that's the logs. Now let's look at the Arcqueue database. So we can look at the graph here. So we can study the data flowing, and yeah, by double clicking on the node. Okay, so that's it.